Hey folks, welcome back. We're in part 3 of session 2 of the health of your gut. I'm Peter Smaniak, your presenter for this course. Now, during this time, we're going to be looking at a number of factors around balancing gut health. We're not going to be restoring at this stage. We are still cleansing. But to cleanse, we need to restrict in certain aspects. What a very important element of all of this is having healthy cells and healthy blood. And the pH of the blood. Now, there are different camps around pH levels of blood, but it is documented and studied time and time again that a highly acidic environment is a rather toxic environment on the body. The body should be sitting at around 7.5 to be able to have a more neutral, optimal pH of the blood. Now, in combination with the toxins presented in the previous section, other stimulants such as caffeine, alcohol, tobacco, or drugs also elevate acid levels in our body. Well, when you do the litmus paper test and obtain a reading, remember this. We're striving for 7.3, 7.5, but if your reading is at 6.5, which is only one down, you're 10 times more acidic than what you should be. At 5.5s, you're 100 times more acidic. And at 4.5, you're 1,000 times more acidic than what you should be. So if you're feeling an energy drain, lethargic, you don't have enough energy to be able to pursue long rides on a bicycle if you're a sports person, or long distance running or training intensely for a longer period of time, start looking at the pH of your blood. Now, because health and disease are directly tied to pH levels in our system, when the body is in an acidic state, it stops functioning properly and disease can take root. So one important function of a cleanse is to try and bring the body's chemistry back into balance. Now, I'm not saying continue eating the way you're eating and go and get a Dr. Vogel's or this or that alkaline powder, but rather start eliminating those highly acidic foods, which we will see in the coming slides of this presentation. So this 14-point scale measures the alkalinity or acidity of a solution. We mentioned this in session 1. And a pH level of 1 to 7 is considered acidic, and a pH level above 7 is considered alkaline. With the exception of the stomach, the colon, skin, and female reproductive organs, the rest of our organs and system function optimally in a slightly alkaline state. If the body senses that any of its internal fluids, that's the blood, the lymphatic fluid, the bile, the cerebral spinal fluid, etc., are too acidic, automatically it takes action to restore this alkaline state. If diets aren't providing the alkaline minerals required to restore the balance in these fluids, what the body does, it actually starts leaching these minerals from our organs, from our muscles, from our ligaments, and from our bones. Now, can you imagine that happening when you're saying, I feel a little bit low on energy, or I'm not sleeping well, or this or that? But in the meantime, what is actually going on is your body is cannibalizing itself to try and keep this balance for as long as it can. Folks, this is very important, and I found this in my own life, that my pH from all the protein that I was consuming at one stage, and that's for most of my life actually, it wasn't one stage, it was like for many years, that brought upon many gut issues, many digestive issues, a lactic acid buildup in my calves when I started running. although I was still an athlete and I was fit, I got this lactic acid buildup that I couldn't get rid of. When I changed all this and I got my body into a more neutral alkaline state, I don't cramp like I used to. I don't, and cramping's also got to do, yes, to understand various other minerals, magnesium being one of it. But when my body's more alkaline, I can go for longer on my bicycle and I have more energy during any day than I've ever had before. So how do we do this now? Where do we start? So as part of your cleanse, you start looking at what are acidic foods and what are alkaline, and fill your plate with the alkaline. I would even say start taking away those acidic foods for the next while, just to get your body into balance. When it's in balance, that's a different story. Introduce, test, see how it responds in your body. So reducing this acid intake. So what we need to do, as we said, we need to reduce acid-forming foods from our diet. We need to clear acidic, undigested food from the intestines. Those are the cleanses we're going to be doing and the cleanse you should be doing. And you will learn more in other future master classes. We need to flush the toxins from the body. By now you would realize that your body is very toxic. Whether you believe it or not, it's toxic. I mean, if we get over this ego that I'm fine and I'm perfect and all is well on the home front, once we get past that, we've already achieved a lot. And I know, even where I am today, eating very clean, I know there's still a lot of toxins in my body on a daily basis. And I can feel it. Some days, it's just that you actually can't get out of bed. And that's me eating clean. I cannot imagine, if you're not, how you must be feeling. I know how it was before. So what you got to be doing is adding alkaline foods and drinks to neutralize acidity and relax the body and the mind. And you won't believe that stress, the amount of acid that stress causes in the body is beyond measure. So when we do all of this, we can reduce this congestion, this inflammation and the pain throughout our whole bodies. Then we start invigorating ourselves and increasing our own flexibility for a variety of foods and a variety of things. You'll even feel that your body takes on a different feel to it. It feels a bit more agile. Now, we can get to a place where we're able to suck every juicy nutrient from the food we're eating and still maintain an alkaline balance in the body. That's where you want to go. But you want to be able to get there so that the food that you're consuming is actually being absorbed through that small intestine, taken up into the colon, used as fiber to be able to clean out and dispose of in a very smooth, quick fashion. Now, you must remember now that because digestion oxidizes food, what it does actually, it essentially just burns it up. So this byproduct of the intestinal fire, as we can call it, typically has different acid or alkaline levels from the food that we've popped into our mouths. For instance, a lemon, people would say, but a lemon is so acidic. Well, a lemon is acidic in its raw state. However, once eaten, it breaks down into carbon dioxide and water and leaves behind alkaline minerals, such as sodium, potassium, and calcium. So lemon first thing in the morning can be one of your best neutralizers that you can be doing. Don't have lemon and then coffee, just lemon water. Many times I'll even squeeze a half a lemon into the water and just drink that many times. Other times I'm feeling like something else, or I go straight into my fiber supplement or a green smoothie or a juice, a carrot juice. But I'm always starting every morning out with at least 500 ml of purified water. So now, on the other end of this, we've got animal products such as meat or dairy. Now, these leave behind acidic compounds inside of our body. Okay, so these are phosphates, sulfites, nitrates. Why is it that you never see, and if you ever have, I'd love to know more about it, that for any cleanse or detox program or book or whatever it may be, a proposal. One never goes on an animal or dairy product cleanse. Folks, have you ever seen that? Or what's come to mind is a refined starch cleanse, or even a sugar cleanse, or an alcohol cleanse. Unless we're using a 6-stage refined vodka to clean our skin, other than that, I've never come across cleansing on any form of animal products. So why haven't we heard? Because, it's simple. Those and others, these meats and these dairy foods, in many instances, they are so toxic. As tasty and as yummy as we've come to know, and I really enjoyed a lot of these things. Don't kid me wrong, and don't get me wrong. I mean, that was me, and I was there for many years. But after I decided, and it wasn't me who decided, after I'd done my blood profiles and I saw what was going on, I had a choice. I had a choice to say, no, the food is far better than actually doing anything about it. Or I could have said, I want to live until 100 with the same quality of life than I have right now. And that's the walk I started taking. And that walk, it's not an easy walk straight away. You can, as I said earlier on, you can use 20%. This course gives you 20%. It scratches the surface, but it gives you 20% that will give you a return straight away. So what is our take home on all of this? Well, let me tell you what. An acidic imbalance reduces your body's capacity to absorb minerals and nutrients. It's guaranteed. It reduces your energy production in the cells. It slows down all cellular repair. That's the first thing you want to be repairing. You want to be repairing all those cells, all the organs, every night. Every time you're falling asleep, there's a major repair going on. We need to rest. People think sleep is not important. We do sleep. We run sleep clinics as part of our business too. Sleep is vital. Sleep, before anything, is the foundation. Sleep is one of your main detoxification tools that you could be using. But of course, I'm talking about quality sleep. Quality and quantity. People say I can get by in 3 or 4 hours. You can't. Studies time and time again have proved that you need at least 7 hours every single night. Otherwise, you're going to accumulate a sleep debt. And that sleep debt is toxic, friends. Sleep debt is toxic. So whatever you do, get your sleep in. Because when you're not sleeping well, remember what also happens. The body craves, in that toxic state, we call it tiredness, but it's a toxic state. It's an unrepaired and unregenerated state. The body craves what? Many times? Stimulants, caffeine, sugar, and so forth, and it goes on. What else happens here? So the body's ability to detoxify heavy metals also makes it more susceptible to fatigue, illness, and then at the end of the day, ultimate disease. So many people come to us and say, well, we're fatigued. We have fatigue in the workplace. We have all these things. But no one's going back and saying, well, let's clean out. Let's remove. Just doing that. Let's clean out and remove. We haven't even changed. We're just removing the toxic elements. And you're already going to have a far superior energetic force or an energetic level about you. And vitally to know is that the more toxic, the more acidic the body is, tumor cells thrive in an acidic environment. So the body, I mean, the Lord really blessed us with an amazing body. And it goes to great lengths to stay in a pH balance. So, and it's building cholesterol plaques, it's storing fat, it's leaching calcium, as I said earlier, magnesium out of the heart and muscles to act as buffers. And why? All in an attempt to protect itself from this acid damage. We speak about leaching magnesium out of the heart. Time and time again, when we do blood profiles for our clients, we're finding one of the minerals our clients are deficient in, and it's across the board. If you go and do your research, because I was actually quite fascinated with that, when you go and do your research, you'll see that 60% of people are deficient in magnesium. And that doesn't mean you're sufficient because you've made the recommended daily allowance or you've made a reference range. Within a reference range, there's still an optimal amount to be. And we find very few people. I don't think I've ever come across a person that is magnesium optimal. I take magnesium all the time, but obviously I take it also in the right proportion to calcium. You can't just take magnesium. Now, once you get this healthy body of yours comes from the inside out. I mean, do we have six packs? Do we strive for a six pack? Yes, we can get all those things. But before we spend so much time on that, spend the time on the inside and the outside will follow. It's happened in my case, folks. It can happen in yours. It's not a difficult world to be able to achieve that. So, what do we know now? Disease thrives in an acidic environment. Get alkaline. Most important for the session so far, get alkaline. So now, a true pioneer in the world of true alkalization is a natural doctor, Dr. Robert Morse. And he says that if the lymphatic system is left unchecked, okay, which is what happens when our modern lifestyles, the concentration of acids contained in the lymph fluids will accumulate around the cells, and the direct contact literally destroys them over time. So that's what we're doing to ourselves. We're literally destroying ourselves over time. But the sad thing here is we don't know about it. We're doing it slowly. It's that analogy of the frog in boiling water. Slowly but surely the water's heated, and that frog doesn't even know it gets to boiling point, and it's dying. That's what happens in our lives when we're not getting these allergic reactions from foods that we're eating, especially these processed foods. The body's just fighting it all the time, draining energy. Yes, we've got all the other symptoms, but what are we doing? So we've got a symptom of fatigue. What do we want? We want sugar. Then some really healthy people say, well, I need vitamin Bs. Cyclists who we work with quite regularly would say, I'm feeling depleted, I can't go again, but they keep going. So they're putting this additional stress on the body instead of recuperating the body. So what we're finding in this acidic environment and this lymphatic blockage is that this destructive process can only be reversed. Okay, so only reversed by removing the acids which are burning the cells through changing the intestinal fluids in order to foster, what do we want? An alkaline environment. This will cause rehydration to take place using thus thinning the fluids. Now, but that thinning the fluids is vital because so many times we're drinking water and we're not even absorbing it. Yes, I drink 2-3 liters a day and I'm fine. No, you might not be fine because your body at a cellular level is not bringing it in. So many people would agree and believe that eating food rich in alkalinity, so that's the degree of the alkalinity forming effect on the body, will put you in a proper acid-alkaline balance. However, here's the catch, folks. This is only part of the puzzle. True alkalization requires more. What do I mean by that? Well, putting more alkalinity properties into your system is great, and that's the foods, the drinks, the clean air that you breathe, or what you're putting on your skin. That's another discussion for another time, which is totally toxic to our system. But now what we're trying to find is this lymphatic system. We need to move it, we need to clean it, and the stored acids must be dissolved. And we can only dissolve these acids by consuming astringent foods like herbs or astringent fruits, or through physical activity or fasting. And fasting takes on various forms. And we're going to see that in session 3, which form is good for you. Fasting also can be cleansing. Fasting could be fasting from a food. So what we find also is that adequate physiological functioning of the kidneys, the adrenals, the nervous system, the bowels, this must all be functioning properly for the lymphatic fluid to be filtered and eliminated properly. So only when all of these processes are happening, and they're happening simultaneously, it's not once off this happens, then that simultaneously can true alkalization take place. So what does this mean? It means that cleaning your lymphatic system to a point where there's drainage of all this blockage. When this happens, what happens? Well, you'll have a result in, your result will be in clean blood and a cleansing system functioning far more optimally. To be successful in this process, what does the body require? The body requires the correct nutrients to be supplied. You can imagine, we can't continue putting toxins in and remove one food and continue putting other foods that create this toxic response or reaction in the body. But what we find is the body, once we start feeding it what it really needs, which we are not taught. Friends, we are not taught this naturally. We are not taught this as we grow up. We are not taught this as sports people, as cyclists, as exercise obsessors. Or we're not taught this. You really have to go down a road. And after going down this road, I saw how much misinformation is available out there. Hence the need to run these type of courses. So what's your take on this? All cells thrive in a clean environment. Get clean. Did you hear that one? Get clean. So we know that, okay, here we're going. We're bantering on about what we ingest, solid or liquid, but what about the effect of this, an acid state of mind? There's more affecting, okay? There's more affecting our pH levels than the food we eat and the stimulants or drugs we take. Excuse me. If we're stressed out, angry, unhappy, depressed, or focused on negative thoughts, this actually increases the level of acid in our body. You know, when you're stressed out, when you're not happy emotionally, what happens in your gut? Many times it's not digesting food properly, it's bloating. You know, I never knew this, but when I used to go into some very, for me it was important presentations, it was a make or break type environment, I used to always, because of my constant habit of eating, I had to eat. But little did I know that in such a state, my body's not digesting that food easily. It's not in a relaxed way, the gut is not. It's rather going to spasm up. So the best for me these days is if I do sense the nerves coming on for certain things, I rather just refrain from eating and drink a lot of water, a lot of lemon water, or I'll do a small carrot juice or just something clean, something very light on the system. So to be able to do that, a good cleanse reboots our whole being. It provides a magnified awareness, a fresh perspective, spiritual renewal. And at the end of the day, it's going to give you a physical rejuvenation. So clear your body, friends. Free your mind and your spirit. Now, I'm not pushing you in to go and be spiritual, although being spiritual could be one of the best things you can do. Get close in the spirit world. By doing so, a lot of the other things, you find greater peace within your own mind and within your gut. And this is not a course about being mindful or being more conscious in totality. But if this message can just touch you just a little bit, your mind has such a huge influence in what's happening in your gut. And it's not a matter of mind over matter. It's actually about freeing your mind from those thoughts. Those thoughts are going to come to you, but it's what you're going to do with them once they're there. What can we expect when we're going through this form of cleaning? So there's various mood swings: anger, impatience, weakness, headaches, nausea, hunger pangs, wild dreams, rashes on skin. I still get my skin, and I've been cleansing now for years, I still get my skin, especially on my forehead, coming up with little like pimple type things. But from what? It's the cleansing. It has to come out. So many times now, and especially as women, once you've got something coming out on your face, what do? You cake it full of base or makeup or some form of other so that no one sees it. But in the meantime, your body on the inside says, I need to get it out. And so you're poisoning it again from the outside. Be aware of that next time. Just watch what you're doing. Now, bad breath or coating on the tongue, have a look. Have a look in the morning, in the day. If you put your tongue out your mouth and you see your tongue is white, it's got that coating to it. Many times when I used to eat a lot of dairy, I always had this. If I don't drink enough water, straight away that is there. Just beware. When you're drinking enough water, your tongue should be clear most of the time. Sometimes people even suffer a little bit from insomnia or fatigue, either or. So these are generally more prominent with the more stringent type cleansers, and you have a choice. You can do some of these, but just be aware. That's the main thing during this cleaning up. Just be aware, not to be expecting, not to be forcing. Be aware and allow the process to continue. Wrapping up, folks, we said now, healing reactions in the mind and spirit, and that's where it's starting. It's starting in what you're thinking. It's starting in not expecting miracles, but allowing miracles to come your way, and then giving gratitude for those things during this cleanse. So it's not uncommon to feel a heightened sense of clarity and focus after the first couple of days of a cleanse. Allow that to happen. Try and calm your life down. Try and rid yourself of some of the chaos that doesn't need to be there. I know life happens, but go into this a little bit more calmly. And there's no better time than the present. Some clients always say, no, I'm not ready for it. I'll do it then. And whenever I've seen them, some of them have just taken a very long time to get going. Whereas other clients just buy in, get it going, clear out their diaries, not from not working, but just relaxing. So finishing off this session, this part of session 2, we said detoxification is one of the body's primary defense mechanisms. You got to help it there. Utilizing the detoxification profile targets specific imbalances and allows for a tailored intervention. And as we've said before, folks, we're all different in every way. But there are things that we can do that are similar that will produce amazing effects. This is Peter Smaniak. This is end of part 3 of session 2. And I look forward to hearing all about it. Every time you do something and you're observing, please pop onto our social media sites, our Facebook site, and go and write down how you're experiencing. Nobody's judging this process. Remember what we said up front. Just allow the process to go, observe it, no forcing it. This is Peter Smaniak. You take care. Until part 4 of session 2, we'll see you soon. Goodbye.